Hey there, I'm Anthony. I'm the founder and owner of the Layer Chess Club, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to start up a chess club online here in Canada for literally free. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to go onto your web browser, and what you want to do here is first you want to go onto the website leechess.org. Here is the Lichess website. Now here, if you don't already have an account for Lichess, there will be a sign button here at the top right where you could create an account. But what you want to do is you want to create a this team will be your chess club team. So you want to go here and name your team. Now, for example, let's make up a name for a chess club. Chess club names could be anything. They could be named after some sort of chess piece. They could be named after a city. It could be anything. Just make sure to use your create imagination. So we're just gonna call this the Kingsview Chess Club. Here you don't need to do any of this, but you could write down a short of a Kingsview Chess Club. They don't have to be super long because not many people are going to be finding this. And then you want to complete the CAPTCHA. These CAPTCHAs should be easy. Create a new, and now you have your chess team. Next thing you want to do is now that you have this chess team, you could start off with a different step. So what we're going to do is to go onto the website sites.google.com. Now, this is where your website for the chess tournament is going to be. If you want, you could buy a domain name, which costs money. However, this tutorial is completely free. At the end of the video, we'll be talking about something to expand, but for now, just create a blank site. I'd recommend you go onto themes, and over here you could choose many different types of themes. You could create your own theme, but for now, we're not going to do much. Let's just choose the Aristotle theme. Over here, you're going to put in the name of your chessbook, and here you're just going to put home. So what you're going to want to do here is make your home page. So say, hello, this is the Kingsview Chess Club. Our goal is to provide as many online tournaments as possible with prizes and affordability in mind. So great, you could expand this later. As I said at the end of the video, we'll be talking about some expansions you could do, which includes these website expansions. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to create the first tournament. First thing I'd recommend you do is so you just create a new page. You could call this new page the name of the tournament. So for example, I necessarily say keep the names basic. You don't want to have them being too complex, but here we're going to do King's View online tournaments. So, no, we're going to do King's View October online 2024. So this is the name of your tournament now. And now we're going to have we're going to add in the details of the tournament. Now, I personally have two types of tournaments that I host for my online tournaments at Layer Chess Club. We either do multiple week tournaments with longer time controls, or we do a 1 day tournament. Now, I when it comes to online tournaments, you notice over the board tournaments are often on the weekends, meaning that they take up the time and people much prefer to go to those. Online tournaments, I recommend you do them on weeknights, say at approximately 7 to 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off. make this, and I'd recommend you do bullet points. Keep it as simple as possible. You don't need to put paragraphs of stuff. If you've ever looked at the Layer Chess Club, you notice that our tournaments have really, really simple details, which just gets to the point. So I'd recommend you put a date. So let's say Thursday, October 3rd, 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. EST. When it comes to online tournaments, you notice they have much shorter time controls than real tournaments, including Rapid. Most of them are around 10 plus 15 or 15 plus 10 on online tournaments compared to normally 25 plus 5. So I normally do 10 plus 5. However, you could be creative with this and do whatever you want. And remember, this is increment time control, not delay, so you need to make sure that these tournaments don't take too long. I personally recommend it no more than 2.5 hours per night, which a 15 plus 10 time control takes around that time. Um, Next thing you want to do is you want to give a bit of more details. So online on leechess.org. And then over here, we're going to do more later. We're also going to do some other stuff, such as 5 round Swiss and maybe 2 minutes in between rounds. So now this is literally all that is. Next thing we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to create a tournament here on Lichess. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on Swiss tournament, create an arena tournament, team tournaments, but now we're doing Swiss tournaments as they're much simpler to do online. So you're gonna do 5. And now you want to choose the date. If you remember, we put October 3rd at 7 p.m. EST. Remember, this is in your own local time zone. So, for example, if you're in PST, put it in the PST time. So we're going to do that 7 o'clock p.m. And we're going to do the same name as we put here. So Kingsview October Online 2024. And tournament description, you don't need to put much. After we publish this, we're going to put the link. But for now, you don't need to do that. So next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to put the clock initial time. So remember 10 minutes plus 5 seconds is what we did. So we're going to do the same thing here. But again, whatever you did, do that. Variant, keep it standard. Do not do anything. Features. Now for features, um, games, if you want them to be rated, most of the time I do my tournaments in rated. And I put here 2 minutes in between rounds. Copy it here, 2 minutes. So if you have 3 minutes, if you have automatic, do whatever you want. Terminate chat. Personally, I recommend you only do it to the team leaders. However, team members are good if you want them to ask questions because sometimes they ask questions and it's much simpler than doing it over email, although I do that often too. Entry conditions. What I'd recommend you do here is because you only want the certain members to join. So when somebody would register, which we're going to get to that later, put their name here. But for now, since nobody has obviously registered yet, you want to do your own name, your own username. I recommend you disable this. This should not be this, or sorry, this should not, you do not have to do anything here. If you want to make a tournament entry code, it's fine, but I definitely, again, recommend doing only allow predefined users to join. Custom pairings. So if there's family members, maybe you might want to do that. However, I personally don't do that. And again, if you want to do manual pairing, however, I recommend Lichess pairing. It's much simpler and more accurate in my opinion. So now after all of this is done, you click create the and here's your tournament. Obviously, you could participate in since it's an online tournament, you can participate it in yourself because you don't have to do much during the tournament. You just have to make sure that it's going on safe. So, so yeah, you could. So now what you want to do next is you want to copy the link, and over here, click this at the top. Then here, put a button. Put the name saying tournament link, and put this. Insert. Now here it's very simple. Okay. Also here, by the way, make sure to put an entry fee because that's also, by the way, really important because you do need to pay to have these CFC rated. So most of the time I do my tournaments at $5 CAD. Sometimes people do sections. However, I don't really like sections considering how much less popular online tournaments are. And I'd recommend you group these. It just looks a lot cleaner. So next thing you want to do is you want to go onto Google Forms and make a blank form for the tournament. Since this is called Kingsview October Online, we will put this here and call it Kingsview October Online 24 registration. Now over here, you want to put in a quick form description. Just say this is to the page to register for Kingsview October Online 2024. And I'd recommend you have the email slot open. Next thing you want to put in a bit of details. I'd say, okay, you put in player name. I'd recommend you put in a phone number slot. Another thing I'd recommend you do is sort, or this is not like obviously you have to do this. So make sure you put in CFC ID, which is how we're eventually going to get them onto the CFC. Then you want to put in the uh, Lichess username, which is how you're going to get them onto this tournament here. And now this is all you need. But when it comes to payment, that's a good question. So I nowadays do my payments with e-transfer. The reason why is because there's no commission fees and you're allowed to give prizes as stuff like PayPal will restrict prizes. However, if you want to do Stripe, I'd recommend you get this extension called Payable Forms, and you have make this form pay, which you could do many things. You could do make this form payable, and here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna connect your Stripe account, and you will get an information about the a sample, so you just know how it works and how you're able to configure payable forms. But the thing is, Payable, it's not like not that good. There's a bit of bugs with it, and as I said, it uses Stripe rather than something like e-transfer. So I'd recommend you do e-transfer. You should probably have an e-transfer set up with your local bank. However, um, that's not that hard to do. So, if you don't know how to do it, you should probably find some tutorials on how to set up auto deposit with your local bank. Now here, what you want to do in order to tell people how to pay is to register, fill out the Google form below and e-transfer to put in your email here. For example, you could put in, this is not the email, like put in your own email, but you put in the e-transfer to the email with full fees. Make sure to put the player, the tournament name. And over here, choose one of these, any of these player name, CFC ID, Lichess username, email, phone number, whatever they are. And just like, for example, let's do player name and player name in the message. This is how you can identify what they do. Now, as a player, they will go onto here and they will click preview. They will put in their email and they will put in all of their information. And after they submit, um, you should probably have a Google Sheet open with the form. This way you could do mass emails. So there's going to be a bunch of player names here. And definitely when you use the Google form, there will obviously be a lot more. There's not going to be one. You're probably going to get a couple of registrations. However, I'd recommend that if there's, for example, this is a 5 round Swiss, so if there's not at least 6 players, you should delay or cancel the tournament. Uh, just because it won't be enough to run all 5 rounds. And also, I recommend not even just six. I'd recommend you go 7 or 8 because sometimes players skip tournaments or they accidentally like just forget to join the tournament. Don't forget it's happening and they don't play, which leads to less players and, as I said, less rounds. So I'd recommend you have all those players. So eventually when the tournament comes, it's gonna end up playing here. Just remember, by the way, to publish the site. And by the way, when it comes to the Google form, um, make sure over here you're gonna go, since you probably use the same Google account, you have to put in, instead of doing another button with the registration, I'd recommend you click forms here and you put here your Kingsview October Online 2024 registration or whatever it is and put it here. That's just the simplest way you could do it. Next, obviously, after the tournament, you have to end up putting the results onto the CFC website. Now, the way you do that is go on chess.ca and also, actually, wait, I forgot. So first thing you also want to do is you want to have to add the event to the CFC. So when you publish the site, publish it at Kingsview Chess Club, whatever, and then you click View Published Site, copy the link, go on to CFC Upcoming, click Add Event, put in your email name, the event name, all of this. When it comes to event type, if you're doing a junior only tournament, which means 18 or below, click junior online. But if you're not doing online, I obviously recommend online. It gets in a lot more players. Put the date start and date end. City or platform, we did Lichess, so make sure to put lichess.org. Province, put online. The URL links, put in the link of the tournament here, obviously. And if there's any message, such as say you're rescheduling or canceling a tournament, make sure to put that message here. Uh, so then after that, as I said, you want to post your results to the CFC. Of course you do. So what you want to do is you want to go onto organizers, click on great tools. Um, Now here is a bunch of organizing. You can skip pairings. When it comes to player lookups, however, so you need a membership in order to join the tournament. So make sure you go onto ratings, look in their CFC ID, and then you'll have a date of CFC expiry. If this date is before the tournament or there is none, then they cannot participate in the tournament. That is only for online tournaments, however. Uh, when it comes to like, sorry, for junior tournaments, when it comes to like adult and junior tournaments, that's like when you like that's when they have the membership. But when it comes to junior only tournaments, they do not need a membership to join. So, and the CFC only updates this around once a week. As you could see, this is the latest data export. So make sure you check this maybe a week after. And I'd recommend do not decline registrations right away. Make sure you decline these like I'd recommend you just keep it up and just like if they don't have one, remove them from the tournament and refund them. Uh, but after all of this, that's when it comes to organizers tools. Now you want to report results to the CFC. So the way this works is that you need to be prepared to send this to the CFC. Make sure as soon as possible. Sometimes I do them a bit late and people just don't, and it's just like it's not great. Uh, So make sure you upload these ratings as soon as possible. I say like after the tournament is finished, right away go on the website, look at the scores and see how that works. But the way it's gonna work is um you're gonna look at here, you're going to look at their Lichess username, and when you have all of this, you're going to have all of the players here and their scores with their Lichess username next to them. So then you want to take their CFC ID, look at the Google Sheet, take their CFC ID from here. Then what you want to do is the way we're going to do this is we're going to use this software, Swiss Assistant. Swiss Assistant is free, but something you need to know is that this only works on Windows. So if you don't have a Windows, that's kind of sucks. Um, However, I know that when it comes to organizers, rating fees, if you do not have if you do not have them submitted in CFC's file format, then you have to pay a bit more. So that's just something you need to note. Um, but back to tools. So here you go. This is pairing software Swiss Assistant, see more, and you have to download the Swiss Assistant. This is updated weekly, so then when you click on this, it will download. And over here, then you're gonna and I will show you how to use this. So uh, let me just open the software real quick. Swiss Assistant. This is what the software will look like. And over here, you're gonna have a bunch of you're gonna have to choose the number of players that were in the tournament. So for example, say we had 5 players, we put 5 players, and the number of rounds, say for example you had 4 rounds, put 4 rounds. Here you go, here's the names. And then what you want to do is, okay, let's switch it up a bit. All right, let's do this. Uh, you want to put in the CFC IDs of all the players. Make sure, so for example, here it's going to ask you what rating system did this event use. When it comes to online tournaments, no matter what the time control is, it is always active. It is always quick because they do not write down the moves, so no matter what, it is always quick. Then what you want to do is you want to put in a bunch of the CFC IDs. I'm just typing in random numbers. Okay. Then over here, basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to put in the rounds and you're going to say, for example, this person, if somebody, let, actually, it would make a lot more sense if we did 5. So, and 5 rounds. So, let's put in another player. So the way it's gonna work is say, for example, I played my first game. I am 181013. So if you go into the Google Sheets, you will see my user, you will see my player name and my CFC ID. And then you will go on Lichess, see what the results were, see what link it to my username, and then over here. So for example, say I won against this person in round one. I am put number one on this list on the side. So no matter what it is, you're gonna put round one, and then I won against three. So you're gonna put W3. I'd recommend rather than going round by round, you go player by player. It just makes a lot more sense. So over here, we're gonna go round two. Say I lost to number two, then you're gonna do L2. If I drew to a player, you're gonna put D, and you're gonna put the player number again. And then if you in this, however, there are such thing as, for example, if you know buys, buys is when there's no player, or sorry, it's when like there's an odd number of players, so you don't get paired with anybody. So then you're just gonna put, if it's a win buy, you put W0. And if there are some like for example in Lead Chess, if you join late, they'll give you draw by for every single round you're late. So you could put D0, for example, this player. And then you just want to fill in all the results. So for example, this person went to this person lost to this person got a buy, and you go so on until all the results are filled in. We're just going to fill in a bunch of results here. So obviously these are not going to be your results of the tournament because no two people can play against each other at once. But after this, you're going to click create report for. So over here, it's going to open up this page right here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to first want to put the name of the tournament. So again, we put King's View October online open. I don't recommend you put the year. Province. So when it comes to province, there's no such thing as an online. So you literally just put any province you want. Say I'd put Ontario. Reference number. You don't need to do anything here. Ending date of tournament. Uh, so you have to put the last day of the tournament. So if you remember, we put 2024. We'll put in a different date in this scenario, but it's day, month. So you have to put set oh 07. Then the tournament director CFC number. You should have a CFC ID yourself before this tournament because you need because that's what it's going to show on the CFC website, the tournament director and arbiter CFC number, or not the CFC number, your name. So then you're going to put 1811013 or whatever your CFC ID is. You're going to put that right here. So for example, mine's 18113, so I'll put that. And then the organizer, it's normally the same. Organizer is actually shown as arbiter on the CFC website. Then you click OK, and then it's just going to give you to a page, bring you to a page that you could download all the CTR and TMS files. So then after all that, you could close this tab. You could go back onto your Google Chrome. Wow, I made this way too big. Okay, great. And then after that, what you're gonna do is since this is the Chess Federation of Canada, you're gonna go onto chess. You're gonna go onto your Gmail. Um, on your Gmail here, you're gonna email info at chess.ca. You're gonna put the subject. You could put whatever the subject is. So, for example, rating fees, and just say it's attached and you post both the you email both the CTR and TMS files to that. Now we're going to talk about some expansions you can make to the site if you want to make expansions. Now over here, I'd recommend you say how like a bit more details of how to register if you want. I recommend you put a lot more detail. And for example, here, I'd also recommend something you could do in order to get more players. Say, for example, put $7 and then put discount for $5. It's just a way to get more players. It's a bit of marketing. I'd obviously recommend you do advertisements, and posters is definitely a good idea too. Now, when it comes to also another thing that's really important, I'm actually going to show you how to do it now. Canva. Go on to Canva to design, and I'd recommend you create a logo. Now, logos, I'd recommend keep them simple. So, for example, here we're just gonna, for example, make the background. We're gonna do some sort of blue gradient. Or since we're doing a king, we're gonna do a something like we're just gonna do a color in the background. So, for example, I say when it comes to chess, keep simple light colors, such as, for example, white and orange. Let's put orange in the background. We're gonna put since we're doing king, we're just gonna put I'm just gonna put chess king, and you could just put pieces like these. Um, find a bunch of graphics and put them onto your page. So for example, I like these two, so we're gonna put this. We're gonna open it up, make it a bit bigger, and then so same thing with this one. For example, you could now this is obviously like nothing. I'm not trying anything here. I'm just like trying experiment with kings, some sort of like pattern. So for example, uh pattern, and you could try and put in one of these. Our Layer Chess Club logo, it's really simple. It's just a pawn and it says Layer Chess Club on it. However, I rushed that. You could do whatever you want. Just make sure you're make sure it's something that you'd enjoy, and I definitely say have fun, try to experiment. Um, Other thing you could do, is this page, this home page is a bit empty. So over here, you want to put some stuff on here. So you say you want to put on, I'd recommend you go on to chess.com daily puzzle embed. And over here, you see this daily puzzle? you probably would want to put this on your website. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna copy this code right here, and then you're gonna click on embed code, and put in this here. So here, if they're gonna, we're gonna show I'm gonna show you what this would look like later. Make sure you expand it just so you know everything is shown in the picture. And then I'd also recommend you go on to Lichess Webmasters embed. Here, there's a bunch of page for Webmaster. Something else I'd recommend Chess. You could also there's also a daily puzzle. You could embed any sort of chess analysis, a chess game. For example, you could put in a game from your recent tournament. I love Chess TV. I actually put it on my site. So you could just do this. Then you want to go on to here. Um, and you want to again put in another embed. You put embed code. Copy this. And you have two, you could put them side by side. When you click publish, and then you go on to you published site. Um, Now here, that's now we're here. You could do whatever you want. So here's the TV, and then chess.com I prefer it over Elite Chesses because it's really creative the way they do it. Now, obviously, just play chess, okay? There's a lot of stuff you could do on our website. We also do many other stuff. So here's our website, and this is a website of ours. You see, we do a lot. We post a lot of stuff here. We have like a big description. We have socials as well. I'd recommend you put socials, put your tournaments on your socials. For example, if you go onto our Instagram page, you could a bunch of stuff about our tournaments, we and we also post a bit of videos, and that's what we do. Also, I'd recommend you also could do this thing called ratings, where basically on this you could visit like there's a rating site, and you could you basically like you could rate your own tournaments. I recommend you could code a system on how on ratings, and it would be kind of nice to have like your own ratings into this system. Uh Also I have like there's a bunch of projects you could really do whatever you want here. There's no limit. I'd also recommend, by the way, you could have a donate page, contact us, and also a rulebook page would make sense. A rulebook page here, we have like you have a rulebook that some rulebooks like you could have the FIDE. Um, this is like FIDE and CFC regulations obviously apply to your tournaments, and then you have these fair play regulations. So this is like a bunch of regulations. So like this and this is it just it like for example you could put registration, fair play, like some sort of punishments like these. Really, and you could do anything you want to do as long as you know it just makes sense. The also tournament page, upcoming tournaments. This upcoming tournaments, uh, over here, you could put a page with all these upcoming tournaments. The way I do this is that yes, there is a way on Google Sheets where you could do this thing called like you could embed Google Sheets into your site, but the way I do it, I prefer another way. So basically what you want to do is you want to go on Google Sheets, make a new Google Sheets and click and type in um because also, by the way, the problem is instead of like the reason I'm embedding like this rather than doing just embedding Google Sheets is because Google Sheets um it would not look like this on mobile, and I want it to look like that on mobile. So you want to do Kingsview Chess Club 2020, Kingsview Chess Club upcoming tournaments. And then what you want to do is type in, so here's all the stuff we have. We have date, event. So I'd recommend, I don't say you have to put all this. I'd say you keep it simple. You could cut out these. So for example, we have date, event, type, and location. So date, so we could just click here. View more row actions, freeze up to row one. So then you do date, event, location, and obviously, now the thing is we have many different types, but you're probably going to keep them at online only, so I'd recommend you just keep it like this. So say the date, as we did, October 3rd, 2024. Stretch it out, event, Kingsview on October online. So you want to go here, you could copy it. You put in Kingsview October online 2024. You stretch this out, you just double click, Control K, Control V, and then you put that in here. Location, Lichess. Now, most of the time you probably keep it, so you could just put date and event. So you could really scrap this out as you want, if you want. Um, so now all you need is that, and then instead of embedding a Google Sheets, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to click here, take out this section of the link, put in preview. It would look like this. Now, it's obviously not looking as good. I'd recommend like you do these tiling. So the way you're just gonna do it is go back here. You want to do this, shift, click this, and then you want to basically what you want to do, you want to click here, done. Now here you notice that. Now it would look a bit better. So what you want to do is then go onto a page, click plus, click new page, upcoming tournaments. Uh, then over here, you want to click embed and click by URL, click insert. And now you have this dynamically updating site page. It looks simple. It's great. I recommend you change this to something else, such as upcoming tournaments. Sheet one doesn't look as professional. We have that here as well. And we also have this page here called past tournaments. Where basically we have you over here is basically you put in your CFC page. What you want to do is just go on your CFC because after you do all your tournaments, um, when you host a tournament, it's gonna show up in this organizer and arbiter tab. And speaking of the rating fees, actually, CFC sends you an invoice with the rating fees shortly after, and you'll pay the transfer. But other than that, so what you want to do is go to your players, go to list, type in your CFC ID or name. Here you go, Control C, and then over here you want to Control V it into a, let's make a new page. Let's just call it past tournaments, and then embed. You could do it by URL. You don't have to do a code. Insert and boom. And then just make it a bit bigger. And you could say the same thing I said here. But that's a bunch of upgrades you can do, and that's how to start an online chess club in Canada for $0. Thank you.